2009, Twitter went down, DNS hacked. The political connections of that specific attack are just too obvious to ignore. It was the elections in Iran, right around the UN Council decisions to ban Iran and do bad stuff to them, and protests against the leadership in Tehran. This is what the attack looked like. All right, again, I hit those slides. This is what Twitter looked like when you try to access it during the attack. If you try to Google it, you'll get that, this Arabic speaking or Farsi speaking page, basically saying this is the Iranian cyber army. We protest this and we don't like you, and Twitter's down, so get your 140 characters somewhere else. This was taken down. This thing happened on December 18th, 2009. All right, and again, the attack was attributed to the Iranian cyber army. Until December 2009, by the way, if you were following those kind of intelligence forums and stuff like that, there was no Iranian cyber army. All right, this is like a new thing that happened just for Twitter. But if you, again, closely look at the affiliations between the groups, you realize that the Iranian cyber army is actually part of a group called ASEAN. It's a Shiite group of, again, hackers and activists and stuff like that running inside Iran. And ASEAN's, kind of defacement logo and technologies and techniques are very, 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 very similar to what we've seen in the Iranian cyber army back on Twitter. All right. Again, this is from attrition. You can see the actual defacements, and they use the actual same HTML template to push onto the defaced sites. And again, just check out the forum, get someone who speaks Farsi or Arabic, and you can see how it operates. To make things a little easier, this is a pic from the Iranian cyber army subgroup inside the ASEAN forums. They have a section called War Games. I shit you not. And in those war games, you can see the post from like one of the trainers or whatever you want to call them, leaders, saying, all right, the war game target for this week, month, whatever it is this website. They have rules of engagement, scoring. It's kind of like capture the flag, but for real. Yeah. And the targets of that capture the flag is not some, here's a VM image, you need to protect it or attack it. Chester County Natural Gas Authority, all right, out of South Carolina somewhere. This is a target practice, okay? You can't make this shit up. It's in the forums. Go see. And the target changes every time there's a new war game. So these guys are actually practicing on critical infrastructure or Chester County, just infrastructure targets as a practice for the actual, D-Day when things are going to really happen. Now let's take a look another quick look at the 18th. What other big thing happened on December 18th? Can anyone point out like a big event? No? Oh, seriously. The same day that Twitter went down, everyone was so fucking busy complaining that they can't tweet from the restroom or whatever it is, that the Iranians seized an Iraqi oil well across the border. Okay? No one remembers this? Come on, it's ground troops moving the border, crossing the border. It's ours now. And no one notices this. Why? Because Twitter's down and everyone's busy trying to get Twitter back up. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so. Baidu, again, another incident between Iran and China this time. A little more recent than this 2009 thing. Again, same thing. Look at what happened around the time when Baidu was taken down. So let's sum things up a little bit on the Iranian kind of cybercrime connections. ASEAN Group, their usual kind of MO is DDoS, side defacements, credit cards, botnet herding, the usual stuff. Iranian cyber army is a subgroup running inside ASEAN, doing strategic attacks and war games and training on critical targets or interesting targets in the US and China. Okay? The line differentiating between cybercrime and cyber war, not that clear anymore. All right? Connecting the dots, very easy. Let's talk really quickly about China because we're running out of time. China was very interesting in terms of the recent happenings, APT, Google stuff. Google was down not as, Twitter, we lost a few hours of DNS. It was down on its knees begging for, Adobe, same thing. And I'm just quoting this because the wording from the statement, the PR statements for both Adobe and Google were kind of similar. I was fortunate enough to help analyze or whatever it is other companies that were hit by the same attack. So the MO was as OD and IE to get into Adobe, Google, and other 40 different companies. And the initial reaction was that the Chinese are here. It's like the Germans. The only problem was that all of the attacks had the same kind of mark of a cybercrime attack, just like the ones we've seen before. All right. APT was used because everyone was fucking baffled. It's like, what? We're just going to say it's malware again? No, this is APT. It's very sophisticated. The US response to it, again, very funny. Beg my non-political correctness. We look to the Chinese government for an explanation. The ability to operate with confidence in cyberspace is critical in modern society, blah, 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 blah. Hillary Clinton. So we look to the Chinese government. Why are you looking at the Chinese government when it could be anyone that launched the attack from China? And the mark is very clear that this is like a very criminal, MO. The Chinese reaction was classic. Wasn't me? It wasn't me? You can't argue with that. You just can't. Try arguing with a 4-year-old. It wasn't me. But it wasn't me. All right, we get it. It wasn't you. Classic. All right. The connection between state and crime, I mean, the incentive and the mutual benefits are very, very obvious. If you let people run off your infrastructure or stuff in your country, internet doesn't have borders. So attribution, first time I said it in a cybercrime talk, wow, a cyber warfare talk, attribution is a problem, and you're not going to get it. It's a win-win situation for every country. And for every state that wants to, launder their dirty business through a criminal outlet in another state to attack a third state, it's child's play. Okay? Everything is accessible. Everything is very easy. Let's take a 1-minute look at the future, all right? An illustrated look at the future. So our oracle, says what this is. What is this? OLPC. All right. You know how these things work, right? Now, what if you give a lot of these, all right, and one of them gets infected? And you give them into a country that doesn't really have the capital to start purchasing services and antiviruses and protection and stuff like that, you get one of the biggest botnets on Earth. All right, so take a look at this. Wonder why OLPC didn't make it the first round? Well, yeah, security. They didn't think it out. They didn't think it through. And sending it to like third world countries that are not going to put, McAfee or Kaspersky on it, or Symantec, or sorry if I missed anyone. Some more future. There's no weapons of mass destruction, all right? Contrary to common belief, there's no, well, now there is the internet kill switch. But yeah, seriously, weapons of mass destruction in the future is still connectivity. Okay? The more connectivity you have, the more power you have, especially if it's dispersed around the world. All right? Back to attribution. And what's better than connectivity? Cloud. Cloud is